జనరల్గా ఏమైపోతుందంటే మన యాజ్ ఎ ఫినాన్షియల్ కన్సల్టెంట్గా మన రోల్ ఏమి అనేసి చెప్తా. ఇది మన క్లయింట్, ఈ సెంటర్లో క్లయింట్ అనుకోండి. ఓకే, మనకు ప్రాజెక్ట్ వస్తుంది కదా, జనరల్గా ప్రాజెక్ట్ వస్తుంది కదా. ఆ ప్రాజెక్ట్ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తాము, హీఈస్ ఎ క్లయింట్. ఓకే, ఇది ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మనకు వచ్చేసి ఒక ప్రాజెక్ట్ సొనాటా ఎగ్జాంపుల్, సొనాటా లేకపోతే సొనాటా కావచ్చు, లేకపోతే ఏదైనా అసెంచర్ కావచ్చు, ఏదైనా కావచ్చు. మనం ఎవరు కన్సల్టెంట్ కదా, కన్సల్టెంట్. ఓకే, ఎనీ కన్సల్టెంట్. ఓకే, వర్కింగ్ ఫర్ సొనాటా, అసెంచర్ అండ్ సో ఆన్. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు మనము వీఆర్ ఏ కన్సల్టెంట్ ఫర్ వన్ కంపెనీ, సొనాటా ఆర్ అసెంచర్ కంపెనీ. సో వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్, వీల్ గెట్ ఏ ప్రాజెక్ట్. క్లయింట్ వచ్చేసి సే రిలయన్స్. ఓకే, క్లయింట్ వచ్చేసి రిలయన్స్ అనుకోండి. క్లయింట్ వచ్చి రిలయన్స్. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు ఈ క్లయింట్కి 2 థింగ్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఒకటి వచ్చేసి ఫస్ట్ హీ హ్యాస్ టు డూ సమ్ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్. కరెక్ట్, ఐదర్ హీ మైట్ బి ఏ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరర్ ఆర్ ఏ రిటైలర్. 2 థింగ్స్, హీ మైట్ బి ఏ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరర్ ఆర్ ఏ రిటైలర్. అంతే కదా, ఉండేదే రెండు ఛాన్సెస్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ హీ ఈజ్ ఏ అనుకో, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మనకు మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ ఎలాంటి వస్తున్నాయి అంటే రీటైల్ ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ వస్తున్నాయి. రీటైల్ ప్రాజెక్ట్స్లో ఏమైపోతాయి అంటే దీస్ పీపుల్ ఆర్ సప్లయర్స్ ఆర్ వెండర్స్. ఓకే, సప్లయర్స్ ఆర్ వెండర్స్. ఓకే, వీళ్ళ దగ్గర అంటే ఒక రిలయన్స్ కంపెనీకి హీ మైట్ బి ఏ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరర్ ఆర్ రిటైలర్. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు మనం ఏం చేస్తాము యాజ్ ఏ సొనాటా కన్సల్టెంట్ ఆర్ అసెంచర్ కన్సల్టెంట్ విల్ బి డిప్లాయిడ్ టు దిస్, విల్ బి అలొకేటెడ్ టు రిలయన్స్ ప్రాజెక్ట్. కరెక్ట్, ఈ రిలయన్స్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ లో వీ మైట్ బి ఏ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరర్ ఆర్ ఎ రిటైలర్. This guy is a retailer or a manufacturer. So what he is doing, he has to do 2 things. One is like he has to buy something, some XYZ items he has to purchase from some vendors. Correct.
Okay.
And he might, if he is a retailer, what he does, he will keep his margin and sell to the customers.
Okay.
Okay, he will be buying from vendors. Okay, he from his suppliers.
Yeah.
And he might be selling to customers. అంతే కదా, మనము కన్సల్టెంట్, వీఆర్ ఏ కన్సల్టెంట్ ఫర్ సొనాటా ఆర్ అసెంచర్, విల్ బి డిప్లాయిడ్ టు దిస్ క్లయింట్. సో వీ షుడ్ సీ ఇన్ పర్స్పెక్టివ్ ఆఫ్ క్లయింట్. క్లయింట్ దగ్గర వర్క్ చేస్తున్నాం కాబట్టి క్లయింట్ మైండ్ సెట్ లో, క్లయింట్ వ్యూలో చూడాలి మనం.
కరెక్ట్.
So we'll say our client is Reliance. So I am a Reliance client. So we are into retail or manufacturing. And here what happens, if he is a retailer, what he does, he will be buying from the vendors. He will be buying from different vendors. For example, if he is into garments, Reliance Footprint or Reliance Trends, he will buy from XYZ manufacturers, dress manufacturers. shirt manufacturing, dress manufacturing, or saree manufacturers. He will buy from these vendors. He will put his margin and he will sell to customers.
Okay.
For example, if he is a manufacturer, he will buy raw material from these vendors. Okay, raw material. Okay, he will purchase raw materials and he will do the processing in the company, in his organization or a company. He will get only the raw material or intermediate products, and he will process that one and make a final product.
Okay.
Okay, and he will sell to the customers. Okay, 1 second. Customers. Okay.
Okay.
To himself, retailer or manufacturer. In retailer, directly he will purchase for 100 rupee. He will sell to customers at 150 rupee or 200, 300 rupee. There is nothing like he will just keep stock of that, or sometimes he may not be keeping stock also. For example, yeah, if you're talking about this one, e-commerce guys, e-commerce guys will have customers and also the vendors and also the customers.
Okay.
Okay. As a consultant, we have to sit with the client and understand their requirement and design a ERP application and give it to them. And he will explain that I have vendors and customers and products, and we also have the products. What type of products? Whether we are keeping the stock of the products or we are not keeping the stock of the products. If you are keeping the stock of the products, we'll have a warehouse.
Okay.
Correct? Inside the client, we'll have one warehouse. We'll have warehouse, site, warehouse and all. Okay. 1 second. We'll have site. Under site, we'll have warehouse.
Okay. So site is nothing but a place or a building.
Correct. 1 second. Let me. I'm a bit slow. Don't worry.
It's okay. Take your time, not an issue.
I'm trying to make you understand the concept. So here what happens? So Reliance as an organization, as a company, as a legal entity, if he is a manufacturer, he will have different types of manufacturing. We have discrete manufacturing, process manufacturing, so many types. Okay.
Okay.
For example, if it is a manufacturing thing, if he is a manufacturer, we'll have different types of manufacturing: discrete manufacturing, process manufacturing, and lean manufacturing. Oh? Discrete manufacturing, process manufacturing, lean manufacturing. Okay, there are 3 types of manufacturing. For example, you are a consultant, you are working for a Reliance company. That company might be a retailer or a manufacturer. Retailer, what happens? He purchases from vendors directly, put his margin, and he'll sell. And if he does not want to keep stock of the item, then he does not have a site and warehouse. He does not require site and warehouse. He might have a temporary site and warehouse. Okay, what happens? He will directly, for example, if you see Amazon or Flipkart, what happens? Customers are booking the orders. They are placing an order. So once the order, he will do orders, place orders. So customer will place orders. So when the order is placed, it will go to Reliance. And the Reliance guy, what he will say, if he is keeping stock of that item, he will directly sell from that site and warehouse.
Okay.
Sometimes what happens, he will not keep stock of the item. So what happens, whenever you place an order to Reliance, automatically there is something called direct delivery, some concept called direct delivery. Using that concept, what they do, they instead of getting the item from vendor supplier to Reliance site and selling it to you, what they do, they will directly, you will be placing order to them, and you are placing a sales order here, and you are placing a purchase order to this client. The same purchase order he will raise from Reliance to supplier.
Okay.
He will raise you will be raising a purchase order, purchase order from here to here.
Yes.
And this person has also should also purchase something to sell it to you.
Yes. Yes.
So what he will do, when you place a purchase order, automatically he will raise a purchase order to client.
Okay.
So when you are raising a purchase order to this person, he will raise a sales order to you.
Okay.
Correct? You
Yes.
are placing a purchase order to the Reliance. So immediately when a purchase order is placed to him, against purchase order, one sales order is to be raised.
Okay.
So whenever a sales order is raised, automatically one purchase order will be generated automatically. You have to
Okay.
focus. This one purchase order will automatically generate and go to this vendor. So this purchase order will go to this guy. Sales order will be generated against you, but and purchase order will be generated to this supplier.
Okay.
So, but that purchase order has to come to here, and again this person has to send this material to here, right?
Yes, correct.
But here what is happening is like he will say, you send bill to me and material to my client.
Okay.
What happens? He is placing a purchase order to Reliance, and whenever a purchase order is created, automatically one sales order is created and given to this customer.
Okay.
Okay, so this cycle is closed. One purchase order placed and one sales order generated. But this person has to purchase from supplier and give it to this client, right?
Yes.
So each and every time, whenever a purchase order is generated and sent to Reliance, he cannot keep a track of each and every purchase order and raise. He has to do two things. One is like he has to give a sales order to you. So whatever sales order is generated and given it to you, for the same sales order, he cannot manually do the purchase order.
Okay.
Correct? So automation is done where whenever one sales order is generated, automatically to one client, one purchase order is generated. And in that purchase order, it will be mentioned like invoice will be Reliance person will be invoiced, Reliance will be invoiced, and material will be sent to the client.
Okay.
In that way. So material will be sent to client on Reliance behalf. Okay. Payment transaction will be done between, because this payment is received by Reliance guy.
Yes.
Now only thing is pending is like the transaction between the supplier and the Reliance. That is called direct delivery. That is advanced topic. You don't worry about that one. That is advanced topic. So high level, what I would like to explain you is like.
Okay. Can you just do one thing?
Yeah. So once again, let me explain one second. So here what is happening is like, as a consultant, you will be working for a Reliance company.
Okay.
He might be a manufacturer or a retailer. If he is a retailer, what he will do, he will be buying from some vendors and selling it to customers. In between, if he is keeping a stock of that item, he might he should have a site and warehouse. Under site, he'll be having multiple warehouses, or he might be having multiple sites. Under one site, he might have multiple warehouses.
Okay.
Correct? Multiple sites and multiple warehouses he might be having based on the location. Okay, so two things. If he might be a retailer, he will be directly purchasing, keeping a stock of that. For keeping stock, he should have a site and warehouse. And from site and warehouse, whenever customer is ordering an item, he will be distributing from the site and warehouse. If he does not have a site and warehouse, if he is not keeping stock of that, what happens? Whenever you are placing an order, he will give a sales confirmation to you. Against the sales confirmation, he has to procure the material. So he has to make a purchase order to the supplier, and he will say, don't send material to me. You can directly send the material to my client. You just give the invoice. I will pay for that.
Okay.
That is a retailer concept. That is e-commerce concept.
Yeah.
That
And
is
what
called
is the difference between the site and warehouse?
site is high level. Site is high level. This is site, and this one is warehouse. Under one site, you might have multiple warehouses. Warehouse is like Gordon.
Okay.
Site is like, for example, Musapet area. Which site you have? Which site do you have warehouses? I have one site in the sense location. Site is like location in Dynamics 365. Location is nothing but a place inside the warehouse.
Okay.
Okay, it is like a place inside the warehouse. So this is location. This is small locations, and this is location small, like a rack, bin in supermarket. If you see,
okay.
yeah, there'll be places like a first floor, ground floor,
Yes,
second
yes,
floor,
correct.
like that. So this is okay. So this is site. At high level, this is site. This is called site. Inside site, we have warehouse, WH. Okay. We have WH.
Okay.
WH. Okay. We have three warehouses. Inside warehouse, we have location.
Oh. Okay.
Location. Okay. Inside this one, we have under warehouse, we have locations.
Okay.
Okay. Clear, na? Site. Site is nothing but, for example, Hyderabad, Musapet. Musapet Goods Shed Road.
Okay.
Okay. Inside that Musapet, you will have one warehouse, Godan. Warehouse. You have one Godan. Inside Godans, there might be so many partitions or locations, like first floor, ground floor, or cellular, or on the east side or west side, right, left, front, back, like that. So it might have different locations. They might have given different locations, or the space is divided into equal parts or different parts based on the item to be kept.
Okay.
So this is a site is nothing but an area.
Okay.
Or a geographical area. Okay, inside geographical area, a warehouse is a building, or a shed, or a godown. Inside godown, location is a place where the material will be kept. So this is the concept of warehouse management. Okay. So here, if he is a manufacturer, we have three things: discrete manufacturing, process manufacturing, lean manufacturing. If he is a manufacturer, for example, if your client is a manufacturer, so what happens? Discrete manufacturing is nothing but he will be getting the components from the supplier. Components like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 different components from 4 different suppliers, or 4 different components from the single supplier. Okay. For example, he will be getting components like pen cap, CAP, 1 second, pen cap. Okay. Okay. 1 second. He will be getting the pen cap, pen refill. One more thing is pen body. So they will be getting three different items. Example, I am talking about example. So here what happens is like he might be a supplier, one supplier. Okay, from Reliance want to purchase components from them, pen cap, pen refill, pen body.
Okay.
Okay, after getting here, he will be creating that, he will be assembling that components into pen. Okay, he will do that, is called discrete manufacturing.
Okay.
Okay, he is getting the components, just assembling, disassembling. He can do assembling and disassembling. So if you are capable of doing the assembly and disassembly, that is called discrete manufacturing.
Okay.
Okay, and if you are getting some chemicals, okay, chemicals, or if you are purchasing some tomato, okay, tomato, sugar, etc. Okay,
Okay.
and if you are preparing jam, that is called process manufacturing. So tomato sugar can be converted to jam, but jam cannot be converted into tomato and sugar.
Okay.
Okay, so that is called process manufacturing. Once it is processed, it cannot be as a disassembled.
Okay.
That is called process manufacturing. One way direction. Here both direction. This is called discrete manufacturing. In discrete manufacturing, we will have BOM, bill of material.
Okay.
Bill of material. Bill of material is nothing but these are the material. Bill of material says what are the to make 1 unit of pen, how many quantities of each component is required. For example, 1 pen, 1 refill, 1 body, or two caps. For example, front and back, if you have 2 caps or something like that, 2 caps, 1 refill, 1 pen. So to make 1 pen, 1 body, 1 refill, and 2 caps are required.
Correct.
So what we'll do, we'll create a BOM, bill of material, and in that bill of material, you will make this pen as a final product. And under this final product, you will add all these components and their quantities. For making 1 pen, you will add these items. These 3 items you will add, and their quantities also, respective quantities also will add, like 1, 1, 1. So when you get the material from supplier, okay, 10, 10, 10 quantity you will get. Okay, 10, 10 quantities when you get, when you create a BOM, when you want to assemble these components into pen, the whatever components required for 1 pen will be reduced from these quantities. For example, you bought 9 quantity of pens. Okay.
Okay.
You have purchased. Okay. You have received this material. Okay. You got this material from the supplier. How many you bought? 10, 10, 10 you bought. Okay.
Okay.
You bought 10, 10, 10, 10 quantity each, 10 each. 10 quantity you bought. So how many pens you can make? 10 pens you can make.
Correct.
Correct. 10 components, 10, 10, 10 different components you purchased. To make 1 pen, if you want to make 1 pen, what happens? There is something called that is different concept, where we can create a final product, that is pen, using these components, bill of material.
Okay.
Using this bill of bill of material, you can create a pen. So whenever you create 1 pen, automatically the stocks will be deducted. The stock will be deducted, and the inventory shows like 9 again, because 10 minus 1, 9. Correct?
Correct.
9. So this is called bill of material concept, and this comes into picture when you are a manufacturer. In manufacturing, we have 3 things like discrete manufacturing, process manufacturing, lean manufacturing. Lean manufacturing is something called Kanban. 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 Kanban is nothing but the things. It is related to simplification of the processes. It is a total different concept. You can only focus for time being on retail concept and manufacturing concept. In retail concept, you will purchase from some vendors and he might keep in his warehouse or he may not keep in his warehouse and directly sell the items to the customers, keeping the margin.
Okay.
So this is the concept. As a consultant, you have to build an ERP. You have to build an ERP, enterprise resource planning, where using that application, enterprise resource planning application, he should be able to manage the resources, like suppliers are also the resources, vendors are customers are resources, and the material is also a resource for them.
Okay, good.
So ERP is enterprise resource planning. ERP is enterprise resource planning. So in an enterprise is nothing but an organization. In organization, you should be able to plan the resource. And one second. You have to create an ERP. As a consultant, you will be working with the client to develop an ERP or create an ERP and give it to them. Where using this ERP, he should be able to do the purchase from the suppliers and sales to the client. So if he is doing the purchase from the clients, this is called procurement and sourcing. These modules are called procurement. Procurement and sourcing modules are involved. So if you are doing purchase from suppliers, that is called procurement and sourcing. Okay. This comes into procurement and sourcing module. Procurement and sourcing module. So you are purchasing using the concept called a module called procurement and sourcing, and you want to sell this item to customers. So for selling to customers, you will be using a module called sales and marketing. Okay.
Okay.
We'll be using sales and marketing. Understood? No? Procurement and sourcing.
Yes, I understand.
Sales and marketing. So this after that, so if he is keeping any stock of the material, then two things will come into picture. That is called warehouse management and inventory management.
Okay.
Right. So
Yes,
if you are inside this warehouse, if you are taking care of warehouse and warehouse activities in the sense when a purchase, based on using this procurement and sourcing, when the client, when the Reliance guy, sales guy, Reliance purchase guy makes a purchase order and get the material, he has to receive the material, right?
Okay.
Receive the material, keep the track of material. He has to check whether damage is there or if there are any missing or damage is there. All these activities has to be done, and also they have to send this material, right? Packing. Once we get the sales order, when we get the order from the customer, we have to do the sales order. So once the sales order is generated, we have to do the picking, packing things, right? Packing, picking.
Yes, correct.
From warehouse. All these activities will be done in the warehouse management.
Okay.
So warehouse management, in warehouse management, what will be done? Picking, packing. First, we do registration thing. So if any item comes, if there is any process called registration, in warehouse, we do the registration.
Okay.
Registration, reservation, and registration thing, and receiving the material, product receipt.
Okay.
When the material comes, they have to receive the material. They have to put away the material into the different locations. Okay, material comes inside and they have to take care of the material. And when the order comes, they have to send the material to the customers. So all the internal warehouse activities, that physical activities will be taken care in the warehouse management. And inventory management is concerned with the material. So how do you, how much quantity you have to order? Whether that that material should be direct order or a stock order. Whether you are placing that order as a stock order or a direct order. Direct delivery is nothing but directly selling the material from supplier to the customer. And how much quantity you have to maintain. That type of activities will be in the inventory management. Inventory is nothing but stock. How do you maintain the stock? How much quantity you have to order? Like that. That type of information will be related to the this one, inventory management. Inventory management, we have 4 things like procurement and sourcing for purchase order creations, purchase order returns, all that activities. So it is between the supplier and the buyer and the seller. So he is the seller and you are the buyer here. So when you are selling the item, sales and marketing comes into picture, and you will be the seller. In the sense, Reliance will be the seller and the customers will be the buyers. Here you are buying and keeping in the place where a site warehouse. If not, we will be directly selling the item to the direct from supplier to the direct supplier. So direct supply in the sense supply to the customer. We will be interchanging the documents and making the payments. He might be a manufacturer or a retailer. In manufacturing, we have 3 things like discrete manufacturing, process manufacturing, lean manufacturing. In discrete manufacturing, we'll be having a feasibility to what we say, we have the ability, we can assemble and disassemble the items. But here in process manufacturing, we cannot assemble and disassemble. Once it is produced, we cannot again we cannot disassemble that item into the raw material. Kanban is related, lean manufacturing means Kanban. Kanban is related to the simplification of the manufacturing process. That is different thing. I am not good at that. I will let you know later. So these are the high level things. See, this is the overall picture based on the client and their suppliers and the customers and what the items what they are producing, the items what they are manufacturing or purchasing, or the items what they are purchasing and selling, and the items and the site and warehouse what they are maintaining. All these activities to be taken care by the consultant. All these things the consultant has to configure. So he has to see how the vendors are. You should know about the vendor management. What are their vendors or suppliers? So vendor related setups you have to do. Customer related setups you have to do. How to create a product you should be knowing. And the site warehouse information you should know, and the processes like purchase and sales process you should know, and inventory management what activities comes, and the warehouse management what things comes. All these setups, any related information you should be knowing. So that all the solution you can give to the client. Clear?
Yeah, it is clear for me.
You have any doubts?
No, I understood the basic concept of SCM. What is what all topics are involved in SCM and how does it works, everything.
Yeah. So we have procurement and sourcing for purchases, and sales and marketing for sales, and warehouse management for maintaining the warehouse, for maintaining the item inside the warehouse. What activities are done in the warehouse? So physical activities, picking, packing, and receiving the material and picking, packing, this type of things they will be doing in the warehouse. And inventory is nothing but how much quantity you have to order and what type of inventory policy you have to use, like FIFO method or LIFO method or weighted average method. There are so many methods. And also in the inventory, if you want to keep track of inventory, you can select as a stocked products.
Okay.
If you are selecting the item as a non-stock product, you are not able to see the status of the item. You cannot see the inventory status of the item. So how much you have ordered, how much had come to our site, that information you cannot see. You are unable to see the item and you cannot track the item.
Okay.
For service items, for example, service items will be selected as non-stock items. For example, if you are buying an item, they will give the installation services. So installation services will also, if you are purchasing, if you are creating a purchase order, they will, in that purchase order, you are doing the item you will be creating two lines. One is like item purchase and other one is installation charges. So installation charges will fall under non-stock item. When you are selecting this as a non-stock item, you cannot track that item in the warehouse.
Okay.
You will not have the how much stock is maintained. That information you cannot have. On hand inventory, stock information you do not have for that.
Okay, so installation, all these are like just expenses that is not related to stock.
Correct. It is not a physical item and you are not keeping that item in the warehouse. So it is non-stock product. You are not stocking the product. And you will not have the track of that. In the sense, physical track of that, how much ordered, how much is balance, how much sold, how much received, that information you will not have. So this is the overall picture of the SCM, supply chain management. Any doubts?
No, I understood. So here discrete manufacturing is nothing but it is also, we can call it assembling, right? Assembling.
Correct. Assembling in the sense you are getting these items. Okay, you are getting these items, cap refill body from the suppliers, and you are converting that item into finished product called pen.
Okay.
So this is called discrete manufacturing. And you are purchasing tomato sugar and converting that into jam. That jam will not be that jam. One second. Let's stop. CM 1. Okay. So that jam cannot be converted into tomato and sugar again. So that is called process manufacturing.
Okay.
And a lean manufacturing, I am not aware. See, this is called Kanban, and in Kanban, what happens is like they are doing the simplification of the processes. Yeah, that is we'll keep it aside for time being. We'll work on discrete manufacturing and process manufacturing and the retailer concepts.
Okay.
Retailer concepts in the sense we purchase for some from the vendors or suppliers at some price. We might keep in the site or in warehouse, or we may not keep them at site and warehouse and directly sell from the supplier to the vendor location, customer location. And you are doing the sales orders.
Okay.
For that. So the whole picture is this one SCM, and here there are so many parts like purchase order creation, purchase order return, advance payment, all the things. Here sales order creation, sales order returns will come, and warehouse management, inventory management. In that you'll get the adjustments. So when you might have two warehouses, so you want to move from the material from one warehouse to other warehouse. Okay. That might be one scenario. So for that, what you will be doing, you'll be using the transfer journals. So using the concept called transfer journals, you can move the item from one warehouse to other warehouse.
Okay.
So there are different modules and different processes. So in procurement and sourcing, we'll have some 4-5 processes like purchase order creation. From direct purchase, if you are direct P2 purchase order to invoice process, and we have RFQ, request for quotation, to purchase order process, in the sense invoice process, and PR to invoice process. There are 3 types of processes, and also purchase return we have. And after making a purchase order, this vendor might ask for advance payment. So that is called prepayments. That is also there. And after getting the material to our site, there might be some damages and we want to send back that material to the vendor. That is called purchase return.
Okay.
So all this comes in supplier procurement and sourcing model. That will be between the supplier and the client buyer.
Okay.
In sales and marketing, what happens? You will be making the sales orders and sales returns.
Okay.
So that comes here. That will be like it will be between the seller and the buyer.
Okay.
Inventory adjustment is like inventory from moving the inventory from one warehouse to other warehouse. That will be in the inventory management or a warehouse management. Yeah, either way, inventory management or warehouse management. So here one warehouse to other warehouse. For example, you have for example, if you want to do the stock counting, physical verification of the stock, every quarter or 6 months, what you do, will be doing the stock verification. And stock verifications will show the actual figures. And you have to update the actual figures with the system. In system, it might show, for example, you have one item called you might have an item called item number 1000. Okay. Number. Okay. Item number 1000. Number 1000. Okay.
Okay.
In system showing 200 quantity. But actual physical it is showing 199 quantity. So then what happens? Always you have to update the physical quantity in the system. Always system is a dummy. System should reflect the physical quantity. Correct. So as per the physical verified quantity, you have to update the system.
Okay.
For example, if 200 this item we have 200 in system, 199 here. So you'll be using this inventory management concepts like transfer orders or movement orders or the inventory adjustment journals. In inventory adjustment journals, what happens? This particular item you will be posting -1 quantity. So -1 quantity, when we add into the system, what happens? This 200 -1 quantity. So the system quantity will reflect 199.
Okay.
So in that way, inventory management, inventory journals are used for moving the items or increasing or decreasing the quantities or changing the item dimension from one dimension to other dimension. For example, you might be having a T-shirt. That T-shirt size is small. But actually, in the physical quantity, in warehouse, in Godon, you have that item, but that item is medium size. So you have to update the system size. Like instead of small size, you have to update the system size with the medium size.
Okay.
So for that also, you will be using the inventory management, inventory journals. So for purchasing, procurement, purchase creation, purchase order creations and all, sales and marketing, you'll be using for making sales orders. And for inventory related adjustments, any type of adjustments, if you want to do on inventory and warehouse, you'll be doing the inventory adjustment journals. That inventory management comes into picture.
Okay.
So all put together, this is called SCM model, and we'll be using the Dynamics 365. So we'll be using Dynamics 365 for that application. 1 second. F&O application. Okay.
Okay.
So we are using F&O dynamic. Sorry, what we'll do? We will be using Dynamics 365 F&O ERP application. Okay, and we'll be configuring all this as a vendor information, customer information, and product information, site information, warehouse information. All these setups we'll be doing, and financial setups. For example, if you are doing any transactions like sales transactions or purchase transactions or inventory adjustments transactions, that financial will be updated. Financials will be updated, and the ledger will be updated. Ledger journals will be posted.
Yes.
So
Your
finance
voice is
comes
breaking.
into, yeah. So in that way, finance comes into picture.
Hello.
Hello, is it audible?
Your voice is breaking.
Is it fine? Hello? Hello?
Your voice is breaking.
Hello?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah. So is this clear? So the whole SCM comes into whole
Now it is
SCM.
better.
Yeah. Whole SCM. Hello? Can you hear? Hello?
Now it is better. I got it. Mhm.
Okay. So the whole.
Yeah, I can hear. I can hear.
Yeah. The whole in ERP, what happens in the as a SCM consultant and Dynamics 365 SCM consultant or a finance consultant, you should be sitting at the client. You should be thinking in client's perspective, and you should understand about the client requirement and what is the business type of model, business model like manufacturing or retailer, and who are the vendors or suppliers, who are their customers, what is their product. So what is their product, what is their site, what is their warehouse, all information you should have, and based on their requirement and what is their process, what is their buying purchase order process like procurement and sourcing processes, sales and marketing processes, inventory management process, warehouse management process, all these activities you should understand, and you have to give a solution, better solution for the client.
Okay.
Clear?